Hey guys, welcome to Next to Nothing. Let me go ahead and unmute things. I think we're ready. Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, what's happening?
Hi.
Oh,
Yo.
not much. Not much. Let's just get to the camps here. There we go. There we go.
Oh, good. I didn't screw anything up.
Welcome to Next.
While you're doing the starting studio, it's just like, let me just like mess with my camera real quick. I'm like, it's okay. Sure, let's go for it.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Welcome to Next to Nothing, the show where we talk about how to waste your time and not your money, gaming for when the wallet is thin. I have my lovely co-host, as always, here with me, like a loyal companion, Ren147. How's it going, dude?
It's going great. I got a new job. I now work at Target, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty nice. No, but realistically, I'm actually doing great. I'm having a good day. I can't complain. How you doing, Danie?
I'm doing pretty good.
Nice.
Good.
Easy.
And our special guest for the evening, Mr. BubbaPudding.
Hello, friends. And if we were playing D&D, the actual answer to that would be Oi!
Oi! Fucking crazy ass elf. Yeah, so, Bubba. Well, maybe we should start with Ren, because I didn't let Ren get out his little spiel. Where can people find you? When can they find you? What will you be doing when they find you?
Oh, we're already doing this right now. Well, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ren147, where I play video games poorly. Very poorly. Exceedingly poorly. But I also play all sorts of stuff. I play Warframe, Monster Hunter, Dead Cells, all sorts of things. You can also find me on Twitter, but that's not going to happen, so don't even really worry about it.
Yeah.
If you do decide on it, it's twitter.com/Ren147 or at Ren147. But yeah. That's
You sound
Renegade
you sound kind of robot-y, Ren. I don't know how I sound to you guys. Yeah. He sounds robot-y on my end.
Better?
That is better.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Well,
my bad.
So happens when you mess with your audio.
maybe not much better. We'll see. We'll see how it goes throughout the night.
Okay. I can always turn it off and turn it back on in a second.
Yeah. How about Mr. Bubba? Where can people find you? When can they find you? And what will you be doing when they find you?
You can find me at BubbaPudding. That's what it says on my screen. That's the best way to find me. You just search it and you'll find me really quick. My picture is just my Snapchat code. Not too fancy with a logo right now. So, when is very inconsistent because of my job situation right now. But usually I have people either join my Discord or follow me on Twitter, BubbaPudding. I usually either will announce it or I'll tweet out it when I'm live. And as of right now, it's been City Skylines. That's been my biggest thing that I've been playing. But now it's going to be Rainbow because of their new season that just came out, Grim Sky, whether you're a Rainbow fan or not. And I think that's kind of all I really stream right now. And occasionally Dead by Daylight with DNK.
Nice. Awesome. So, we have some things to talk about today. We didn't come totally unprepared. Think we should probably just get the two games that we're going to talk about out of the way.
Sure, I'm down.
So, do you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You can go ahead and go first, Danie.
Okay.
Also, am I not robot anymore? Hopefully not.
Oh, you sound great now. Nice and clean.
Okay, great. I reset everything, so we should be good.
So, this game that I played, I have to do kind of a little bit of a disclaimer. There are some legally dubious things with this. It is a ROM hack, but it's a very interesting ROM hack.
Okay, right. Lay it on me. I'm ready.
So,
go for it.
To me, ROM hacks are just mods, which if you own the game, granted, this was on a system that I don't currently have. I'm pretty sure I still have the cartridge to Pokemon Crystal somewhere, which puts me in the clear. It's in a box somewhere in my mother's basement. I know that.
Oh my god.
So the game I played was Pokemon Crystal Clear. And like I said, it's a ROM hack of Pokemon Crystal, the game from 1997. 1 second. And I found it from a YouTuber, so we're going to be watching his review. It's Pika Asprey Yellow. That's who I found it from. He's a Pokemon YouTuber, so go check him out if you want to see the review, or his review in particular. So basically, I've been a big fan of Pokemon since I was a kid. I've always loved Pokemon. Pokemon Gold was the first game I played. Then I got Pokemon Crystal because I wanted different I wanted, some of the other Pokemon. So this game, if for those who don't know, the second generation of Pokemon takes place in Johto, but you can go back to the first area from the first games, from Red, Blue, Yellow, and Green, if you're in the Japanese market. So in GSC, Gold, Silver, Crystal, you start in the new region. You go into you do all the badges and everything like that, and then you go to Kanto and see how Kanto has changed. This game basically makes it an open world experience. Mm-hmm. Ren, did you play Pokemon at all?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bubba, you play Pokemon?
I don't play any of the actual games, but
okay.
I play the trading card games.
Okay. So, I mean, anyone who has played like a Pokemon game knows it's really linear. You go from town to town to town to town because the entire game is set up to where you need to collect a badge to use this move to get to this one town. Right? It's like, if I need to get to this town, I need cut to, do that, or I need strength to get through this cave. It's on an island, so I need to go surf there or whatever, right?
Right.
This game does away with that for the most part. There are fairies that will take you to every island. So Cinnabar Island and I'm trying to remember what the other one is. In Johto.
Is it the Orange Islands?
Not the Orange Islands. So I'll kind of get back into that in a second. It's that's the Whirlpool Islands. The Orange Islands don't actually exist in the canonical games. It's only an anime thing.
Yeah, I think they added it in on the the Fire Red and Leaf. I think. So I'm not super sure.
I think they did. They did do some in the Fire Red and Leaf Green. They did do some islands where you can catch Johto Pokemon, so that Johto Pokemon weren't totally lost in the third gen, because they probably would have been if they didn't add that. So, you can basically go anywhere. It's really weird to be start in Johto, because you can actually start in Kanto or Johto. So I'll give you an example of how strange this actually kind of is. So you can start in Johto, go from New Bark Town to Violet City, go from Violet City to Goldenrod, which is skipping Union Cave, skipping Azalea Town,
a bunch of stuff.
The Elix Forest, and then you're there. And they've also made it so you don't have to do the Slowpoke Well stuff. Actually, there's no Team Rocket members. The idea is that this is taking place a couple years after Gold and Silver, or a year or something after. So so you can skip around and go. And the way that this works is that the gym leaders, their difficulty is set to how many badges you have. So if you have no badges, you can go to anyone and they'll still have the regular level 9 Pokemon or whatever. That's
actually super cool.
Yeah. So I can go all the way, granted, the wild Pokemon, they don't do that.
Right. Do trainers also or are trainers just base set at what they normally have? So say you go into a high level area, they're gonna have level 30 somethings. But if you go fight the boss,
I think trainers
or the gym leader, it's gonna be a level 9.
Yeah, the way it appears is that trainers are set to the are are set to what you have for badges.
Okay. Like at that badge area. Okay, I got you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's so far so quick.
Yeah. So there's like, and it's like a really weird and interesting way to play it because, yeah. So somebody actually just said it probably better than I could explain it to you. The trainers level with the badges. That's a better way.
Okay.
So I think I said it right, but that's just a more articulated way or simpler way, because you asked it and I was trying to keep up with shit.
Sorry, bud.
No, it's good. It's me. It's entirely me. So there's that. There's a bunch of other things. Like there's a bunch of added starters, right? So you can choose from the 6, standard starters: Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur? Yeah, no, that's right. Chikorita, Totodile, Cyndaquil. But then they added a bunch of others like Ditto, Tyrogue, Magby, Voltorb, Growlithe, Houndour, like a bunch of other Pokemon. And they have like a hard mode, so it's like the hard mode is Ditto, Magikarp, and Smeargle. Right, so Magikarp, like you have to just be lucky and like catch a Pokemon with your first 5 balls or however many Pokeballs you got, because you're only going to be swap leveling that thing. Let's see. The Ditto, obviously it only has transforms, so you're especially that for, you better hope that you don't find anything that is going to just totally fuck you. And then Smeargle, I mean, it learns all of its moves from Sketch. So with that being said, it's like, okay, where am I going to go to get some halfway decent moves on this thing? Because it can only basically copy it can only copy 4 moves, and that's all it's going to fucking learn.
Right.
They've added in all of the all the legendaries that you need. Celebi, Mew, Mewtwo is back in there. They put in the 3 legendary birds, and then you have Lugia and Ho-Oh, and then you have the 3 legendary beasts. So like it's all there. They got rid of version exclusives, and here was the thing that I'm like, oh, this is actually really interesting. Or the thing that like made me hype was in both regions, in Kanto and Johto, there is somebody, because there are certain Pokemon you can only get through trading them, right? So if you want a Steelix, you have to trade an Onix with a Metal Coat. Yeah. If you want a Kadabra, you got to trade it, or if you want an Alakazam, you got to trade a Kadabra.
Right.
Which, if you were like a sad lonely boy like me, or in poor, you couldn't really do that in the Gold, Crystal, Silver days, unless you had a friend who had a connection cable and whatnot. Right. But they have someone that'll trade it back to you in the game itself. So, like in my current, I've done like 3 little. My first save got deleted somehow. I don't know if I just accidentally put it in the trash. Second save, I just wanted to see what it was like in Kanto, starting out in Kanto, which, I mean, I've played through that, and I like Johto more. So then my second started with Johto, and I started with a Pikachu. And I've only put like maybe 45 minutes into this playthrough. I already have him a champ. So, like, leveling is super fast. Being on an emulator, you can do, just hold down the space bar, and you'll get like 1,000,000 frames a fucking second. Also, like, just don't turn off the sound, because it'll drive your frames haywire in VBA. A couple other things that they've added that have just like made the game better. They've added character customization, so like you can choose like out of the 4 sprites, you can choose like the supposed female from Red and Blue. You can choose female from Crystal. You can choose the male character from both games, and then you can also choose your sprite color between like 5 colors. So I mean, that's like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's actually really cool. Okay.
Oh golly, what else is there? You can go back and re-challenge gyms, but you can set the difficulty. So if you want to like grind like a very specific Pokemon, like
Mhm.
uh, so I had to go fight Morty, which he's the Ghost type trainer, or gym leader. I had a Growlithe that knew Bite, but it wasn't quite strong enough to stand up to the Gengar and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know
Right.
what? Let me go to Bugsy because Growlithe has Ember, and I'll just fucking run through it a couple.
Yeah.
So like after like twice, I'm like, okay, this feels pretty good. Let's take Growlithe up to where I need to take Growlithe.
Mhm.
Swept through it, not a problem.
Yeah. And I also saw that you could like re-challenge bosses or re-challenge gym leaders. Sorry,
Yeah,
excuse me.
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is where you can like set the re-challenge
Yeah.
and then you can set it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That I can see how that makes the leveling a lot easier for sure.
Yeah, well, because, you know, and I was kind of curious about that. Let me go
Yeah.
one second. And I was kind of curious about that when, like, they said it was an open world game. I'm like, how are they going to deal with, like, the leveling in grinding and
Right.
stuff like that, right? Because if you... So, in my first playthrough, I made the mistake of, like, okay, so I'm here in New Bark Town. I don't need anything in particular to go to, I don't need anything to go over to the Indigo Plateau or to cross over into Kanto. Little did I know, though, that wild Pokemon didn't scale, and I got obliterated by level 28 Arbok, right? So, you know, nearly a level 30 Pokemon, I just get obliterated. Yeah, like when I found this, I've been like really surprised and like really happy with it. I'm like, this is a really interesting way to play this game, to like look at this game.
Yeah.
Or look at the formula of Pokemon and be like, why can't Game Freak do this? Like, here's a modder who's doing it. Essentially, you know, it's kind of, you know, like how Skyrim and Bethesda, the mod stuff. Yeah, super interesting way for this to look at this game. And like I said, I've played Pokemon Crystal since I was a tyke, you know. I go back to Pokemon Crystal like every 2 or 3 years. It seems. So this was just like an interesting way to kind of to play and see how it goes.
Yeah. See, so I'm always worried. This is what I'm like happy about, right? Because most mods really like they don't stick with the game, or they don't really like they make their own story out of it, which I get. But like with something like this, where it feels more like an expansion more than anything, like it adds like another element to the game. Because there was a few things about Pokemon that were always just obnoxious, like having to grind incessantly, so that way you don't have like just a Pokemon that's like level 70 and then like everything else is like 20 max. Just because like you're just running through it with all one character. So like being able to farm gym leaders is super beneficial for that. Like just being able to scale up your characters, and then like you can actually go to what gym you want. That's pretty neat. Because I'd be interested to like see how a ghost type starter gym would be, right?
Yeah.
Or like what, like the very last dragon one in Johto, I believe.
Yeah. With God, what's her name? I don't remember her name, but I can remember her team. Her ace was a Kingdra.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be
Shitty
really
ace.
curious to see how like I'd be really curious to just see what Pokemon sets they have. Because do they just run the same Pokemon that are just lower leveled, or is it actually just like lower leveled evolutions of it, or some degree, or is like the set just different?
Yes and
So,
no.
like,
So, so the like the evolution or the teams like at lower levels or at higher levels, like at higher levels they'll obviously like be the full evolution. So if you go back to Faulkner, like he's gonna have Pidgeotto or Pidgeots, and he's gonna have like a Furo or something like that, right? He's gonna have more. But then like because I went to Morty early on in the game because I had that Growlithe with Bite. Shit. I'm sorry. I just got distracted. But so he didn't have his Gengar.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So you'll see the scaling. let's see. What else was I just gonna say? I was gonna say something else. Oh, no rival battles, which feels weird too. Like to not get stopped in Azalea Town on your way out is really weird. Oh god, there's like a lot of just like interesting things when they just when you just remove when they just remove like all of the obstacles and shit. That's just so bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah, where everything's just like open. Because I can imagine that in like the Lieutenant Surge area where there's that tree that you have to cut down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, oh, there's no tree there. That's gone. That's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, yeah. Okay.
Well, like, in like the areas that they didn't like leave trees or that they didn't take that stuff out are entirely optional.
Right. Yeah.
That was the thing. It's like, God, there's the mountain by the ruins of Alf that you can go to that has like Stantler and all sorts of other shit. Just go there. That's like entirely optional, but you can like go through there and you can you can do shit there. Like I said, like just to go from Violet City to Goldenrod, like,
right,
and then go from Violet City to you could if you go from Violet City all the way to Olivine, no obstructions.
Mm-hmm.
That was weird too.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
It feels weird, but it's an interesting weird. That everything else is good. Everything else is just kind of optional. It's like, oh yeah, no, I can just kind of go. I started out with an electric type. Let me go over to Falconer, and then I'll go over to I'll find my way over to Misty, and then and then whoever else. Yeah. No, I think if you guys can find this download, like I said, there's some legally dubious things and a lot of questions about it. Like I said,
It's a fun playthrough. It's up to you to decide if you want to play it.
Yeah. I'm not endorsing piracy. I believe I am legally covered. I have a Pokemon Crystal cartridge, which means I legally can get a ROM and have it modded.
Mm-hmm.
I am pretty sure.
Yeah.
Nintendo, don't sue me.
Don't tempt them. They're terrifying.
They are terrifying.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's Pokemon Crystal Clear. Try it out.
Sorry.
It's an interesting way to look at the game and just kind of wonder.
It seems pretty cool. It seems like there's a lot of like expansions and like customizations and just like general things that you could just change, because like I saw that there was like an entire settings list of like things you could do.
Oh, there's a bunch of quality of life things that they've added. Like you can do like a quick mode on Nurse Joy, and then it'll automatically turn you around so you don't accidentally hit A again.
That is awesome. I'm so happy about it.
And and then like a bunch of like music options that you can check out.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can get like do all sorts of music in the 8-bit style from like Pokemon X and Y and Sun and Moon and stuff like that, black and white.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in the chat just mentioned you can find a way to obtain the game on the Clear Crystal official Discord. So if you guys are interested in it, that's where you should go. Look up the official Discord. You can find information there. Yeah, it's just like I said, it's just a weird, interesting, fun way to look at. And they like also like added like they they put a bunch of it, like they recreated Cinnabar Island or made like a new Cinnabar Island. And then there's also the Safari Zone. They reopened the Safari Zone in this game because Gold, Silver, in GSC they closed it. Yeah. So they reopened it in this one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's super neat. Yeah, I don't really have many more questions or anything. It's more so like it just seems like an expansion more than anything.
Yeah.
Like that in itself seems pretty neat to me, because I'd love to see, I don't know, quality of life changes for a game like that are always like I'm down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna be upset by quality of life by any means.
Yeah. Well, it's
But,
just funny
yeah.
because the quality of life or the quality of life in Pokemon games is actually kind of crummy.
Exactly. That's the thing. Just all like, yes, please. I don't
So,
want to sit there and farm for like 2 hours to try to
yeah.
get my party like at a decent level.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
okay.
the closest thing they've come to making like a quality of life change in any Pokemon game, I think, was in Black and White, where they added a store in the middle of the Pokemon Center, so you didn't have to go from the Pokemon Center and like try to find the fucking mart.
Oh man.
Get all your potions and antidotes before you go.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah.
Man. This just makes me want to do like a Pokemon Blue run or something.
Right.
It just like it seems pretty like it's giving me nostalgia.
Right. Yeah.
That's basically where I'm at.
Well, and it was all I found this at like perfect timing because Twitch is like in the biggest marathon of its life with fucking
Yeah.
with the Pokemon marathon, which I have been watching, by the way. One of our streamer friends, Mama Mouthy, was giving people shit. She's like, I had to check out the Twitch Presents because I saw a bunch of people in there, and it was like 25,000 people watching Pokemon. Like, what can why can't people watch it? And I looked up, and I stopped Mouthy, and I'm like, Mouthy, honey, I was one of them, and don't you shame me.
Oh man.
I'm like, that was my childhood. Don't you shame me.
Oh my gosh. It was just nice to see what the Twitch community's like whole like interaction with that was gonna be.
Did you watch the Yu-Gi-Oh? Did you
interesting.
watch the Yu-Gi-Oh marathon?
I watched some of it. I definitely
kind of
watched more of the Pokemon one.
I've watched more of the Yu-Gi-Oh one, but I also just like left the Yu-Gi-Oh one on for
that's
for noise a lot of times.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, which
Good.
we might need to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Links at some point. I'll have to get back into that.
Oh man.
So yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about this exhaustively. Let me just ask: if you start this, if you play this, Ren, what starter are you gonna go with?
Oh, if I was gonna play the modded version,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I really like the idea of starting with a Ditto, because I think I've done that once before, just like on like a cartridge, and I just had a Game Shark, and I was like, let's get a Ditto.
Just start
It
with
was
a
a
Ditto.
horrible idea, but I did it anyway. I was like, whatever, it's fine.
Oh, by the way, like a nice way to like not have to deal with like shitty like like I have a level 70 and everything else is level 20 kind of thing. Just keep your team down to 4 Pokemon. Because those 4 Pokemon, if you continue like if you kind of plan it out and be like, okay, I have like this fire type as my starter, I'll have my flying type, I'll have my, this will be one of my coverage ones, this will be like my water coverage, and this will be like my grass coverage. Like if you do something like that, your levels will be even spread and they'll be over leveled for the bosses. Or if you do like 5 Pokemon, that's another good way to do it. If you just do 5 Pokemon instead of like the full 6, it's actually kind of nice. Like if that's how I usually play. I don't do a full 6. I usually try to stay to 4 or 5. Because you'll be over leveled for the Pokemon games.
Right.
You'll be over leveled for them. And it eliminates a lot of the grinding.
Yeah.
Somebody just asked about my strategy. What about a full 6 with 1 neglected? I mean, yeah, the HM slave, like that's always a thing. That's basically the same as having 5. But for me, I just try to do like 4. And like, it's easier in later games to do that because you can get you can get a lot better type coverage. But like if you do like Hoot Hoot, you can get confusion. So there you go. You have your fighting types, covered there. There's other ones, other type coverage you can have. But yeah, that's kind of it. I think I've talked to this one into the ground.
Yeah.
I've talked about Pokemon for like 20 minutes now. 30 minutes now.
Oh man, but speaking about grinding though, Warframe, literally Warframe,
Literally
is nonstop a
Warframe.
grind, which is, by the way, all I've been, well, not all I've been playing,
Yeah.
but that's
Close to.
definitely what I've been doing for a good majority of my time. Yeah, I love that game. Basically Warframe, you play as a space ninja, and you hang out with other space ninjas, and you go from planet to planet, killing everything in sight. I know that sounds probably not like the best description of the game, but realistically, at the start of the game, that's pretty much all it is. About halfway into the game, it really starts to develop a story, but to be completely honest, at least when I started, which was a while ago, granted, did not really have a story at all in the beginning. But yeah, it's basically a game where you run around as a space ninja and you kill everything in sight. It's free. That's like the biggest sell on it.
Yeah.
But also a lot of people consider this like Destiny's competitor, which is so good because Destiny sucks in my eyes. I hate it.
Watch your mouth.
The game is trash. Just fight me, at me. Oh man. But yeah. I don't know. A lot of people consider games like this to be was it pay to win? But it really isn't. It's more of a pay for convenience sort of thing. Everything you can actually just earn directly into the game, aside from like very, very specific cosmetic items, which you actually have to pay like money for. But a lot of times you can do like trading. So for example, if you have any experience in TF2 or anything like that, you can just trade to earn like a currency that you can use to just like buy all sorts of stuff. But realistically, you don't even need to do that, to be honest. The game has a huge weapon pool, like a massive weapon pool. The character that you see on screen right now, that's Excalibur. That's a boss, but Mushroom Face doesn't need to be talked about. He's fine. But there's also all different types of Warframes themselves, and they all have like their own special abilities. So, for example, that starting off frame that just showed off, that was Excalibur. He basically runs around with a sword, and he just throws out sword lightning stuff at people. It's great. This is Mirage, where he focuses on like having multiple versions of himself out, and it's like more of a distraction frame than anything. But realistically, you can play in a whole bunch of different ways. There's not like, for example, in Destiny, it's a lot of you have 3 different role choices. Realistically, you have like a mage, you have a tank, and then you have like a ranger. But in this, you can pick like all sorts of different things. So you'll have like assassin frames, specifically gunslingers. You'll have your mage frames and all that. But like there's so many different like alternatives. There's a straight up ninja that's in the game. There's a ninja. There's Loki, a trickster frame. There's one that just like stays invisible all the time. But yeah, there's like a whole bunch of different ways of playing this game, and a whole bunch of different items and weapons and all sorts of things along those lines. So you can really like, you're never stuck to just being like, oh, this is the meta thing. This is like, I have to use these weapons. There obviously is like good weapons and stuff like that, but realistically, you can use whatever you want, and nobody's gonna like shame you for being like, wow, I can't believe you didn't use the thing with the stuff.
Oh God, you're such a noob. Why are you using that overpowered?
Exactly. And that brings me to my second point about Warframe, and this is actually probably going to turn more into a Warframe is better than Destiny rant the entire time. So bear with me.
Fight.
So bear with me. But I'll give Destiny this. It has decent PvP. Warframe pretty much chucked its entire PvP section out the window. I think there's like 10 people total in the world that play it, because it's not a thing that people use. But because they put so little emphasis on PvP and they put everything on PvE, one, the community is significantly better, so that's a plus. Everybody's normally just working together and having a good time. You'll very rarely run into people who are just like, wow, I can't believe you didn't do the thing. Wow, what a rude. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the community is more structured. Everything is free. aside from very specific cosmetics, and yeah, you don't have to pay for expansions, and the expansions are better than Destiny. That's pretty much my selling point on Warframe, to be honest.
Just watching your video that's
I could
on here right now,
spend.
and it's giving me a headache.
Oh man, I mean, I could spend like $60 for a half-finished Destiny game, or I could spend zero.
Pew 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 pew.
And play Warframe instead. This is like an entire list of like characters that you have, and the story, like, granted, I'll wholeheartedly agree. Story before halfway into the game, which is a lot of time, almost doesn't exist, and it's pretty bland, and it's pretty boring. That being said, at the second half of the game, it really starts to like diversify itself and like actually build a plot. But I'll totally agree. First half, there isn't a story. It's pretty much just like, let's go out and kill things, guys. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I found this game to be like super fun.
Okay, so
sure.
Here's the question I have.
Yes, lay it on me.
Because I have no idea how much time I have in Warframe. I think it's like maybe 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah.
And I've heard a lot of people like the late John Bain talk about like you need to find friends who play the game in order to understand it. If you don't have friends who know this game, that play this game, what do you recommend somebody doing? Because it's free, right? It's a great game to get in for free, and so if you're totally obsessed with this game, like, or get obsessed with this game, I don't think you'll have a problem. But with MMOs, we've talked about this before, it's like they have the potential to just suck you in, but like 99% of MMOs won't
do have
suck
the
you in.
potential to repulse you too. Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna say like 99.9% of MMOs aren't going to suck you in.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think there's an MMO. It's like the right one, right? But
Sorry,
you can play an MMO with your friends and find it tolerable or fun even.
Yeah.
But if you can't find that with this game, what do you recommend?
If you can't find friends to play with this game?
Yeah.
Specifically? Oh my god. I don't know if you hear that. In like 2 seconds. I'm gonna let Bubba do a mild rant about how Warframe is bad and how Destiny's good. I'll be right back. Sorry.
I was gonna say, did your dog really need to go out?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. I don't even know where to go from this.
I mean, the game.
I don't know. I just cannot get into it. Like, I'm watching this trailer right now, and just how fast movement is going on, I can't see myself playing this. And and I definitely agree with what you say. You cannot get sucked in by those games. Like, it took me a while to get into Destiny because I first played it and I'm like, what am I even doing? And then one of the guys in the chat right now, I play with him Destiny with it, and we got a whole group of us that play it together. And when you get a group of friends playing it, Destiny is fun, but it's frustrating because they have like the I'm gonna say it. The Leviathan is what it's called, I think. And it takes like 5 of you to like, and I don't even know how to explain it because this one mission, it was on Destiny 1, and you had to like go on one side, carry this globe to the other side. It was so difficult. Like, it's very difficult to do, and you need a cooperating 5-man to do it. And if you do one little mistake, you fail it. It's challenging, and it always brings.
We there? You guys there? Hello? Strange. Discord seemed to have turned off. Yeah. Solo show. Yeah. This is now officially the Danie cast. Yeah, I am. Discord is trying to reset itself right now.
Hello.
Are we back?
Yay.
Oh, welcome
Oh.
back, sir.
My Discord just like died out of like nowhere. Were you guys in a chat together?
Yeah, we were like
Yeah,
just together hanging
yeah.
out. We
All of a
heard
sudden
you
you just
DC and we were just like,
I didn't
we
touch
do from
anything.
here.
I'm
Oh man.
just like, oh god, I wasn't prepared to do this on my own.
Oh man.
Like, oh god.
We had that plan the whole time.
I could definitely see you on the screen and it was just like this look of, oh, no.
I'm like, oh, the horror.
Oh, what have I done?
Me and Red
Oh.
left the voice call to go tough one out. Get the Warframe and Destiny fight.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we tussled. We tussled. We
Like,
figured
did you
out that
guys-
Hello Kitty Island Adventure 2 is better than both. That's pretty much where we stand now.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah.
And to add though, one of my buddy put in there, I did take a break from Destiny 2
Mhm.
for a very long time because I burnt myself out with it
Mhm.
because I grinded because you can have 3 characters and I grinded out until I could get as high as I could and then I was done. I couldn't do it
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and kind of like for me, kind of going into MMOs, kind of going back into like that getting sucked in and the needing to cooperate and having friends or whatever. That was kind of the reason I stopped playing ESO. And then when I had a friend who's like, "Yo, you want to play ESO together?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Because we could just get like, "Yeah, do you want to actually run dungeons?" I'm like, "Yes." You want to go do world bosses? Fuck yeah! I've never had anyone go do world bosses with me. Let's go. And I couldn't seem to find anyone to go do world bosses with me in the game itself.
So that's the thing. That's the nice thing about Warframe is because it's free.
Mhm.
People are a lot more open to just being like, "Yeah, I'll get the game and I'll play with you.
Yeah.
I'll suck, but sure, I'm down." I know for a fact if I pick something like Destiny or Destiny 2 and like I tried to play that, just that base like price, like always throwing on a price tag is always going to be a huge limiter for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Of just being like, I'm not gonna buy it because like, what if like I play it and like if I'm not playing it with people, I don't like it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the pro. Really, is because it's free. Like having that, it's not like the biggest issue realistically. It's like, oh, I can play it solo if I want, and if I don't like it, it's whatever. I can play it with friends too, and if I like it that way, cool, awesome, I'll continue.
Yeah.
And if not, then whatever. I feel like that's just like a much better thing than like throwing down like upwards of $60 to find out like you just don't like the game,
Yeah.
and then you're kind of just stuck with it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's where I like stand on that front. But I do agree it's much faster paced than something like Destiny, for sure. Early stages are a lot different than what we're watching right now because this is like more so later stuff where you realistically know what you're doing, what's happening, and everything. So a lot of times you just kind of breeze through things versus like when you start and it's like a spy mission, you're trying to be all sneaky. Higher level people are just gonna like book it to the end, like break everything and then just leave. Spy mission complete. Easy. But like if you're just starting, you're gonna be like sneaking around trying to like kill everybody and like an assassin. And it's just like, yeah. But yeah, that's more of a like gameplay time thing where you start to realize that like, oh, I don't actually have to like go and sneak around.
Yeah.
You can be a space ninja, that's totally viable. There's nothing against it. But like you can play it realistically however you want. But yeah. This right here, actually this section that we see on screen with this relic refinement stuff and everything, that's the stuff that normally people would like say is pay to win. You get these things like doing random missions.
Yeah.
And like that's where you get like your actual good gear, your high-end gear. And it's not like you have to pay it. You don't have to pay at all to even get it. Like nothing. But yeah, because I know that I've heard people like call this game pay to win, and I heavily disagree because it's just like the only things that you can actually pay for is like obviously the currency. Like you can pay for that, but you can easily trade things in like 2 seconds to get the currency too. That's not a problem. And actual paying of money to like pick up certain cosmetics, but it's never actually just like, let's buy like a specific frame or character that's just so strong that like, ta-da, I win. Because you don't have to do that at all. Like not in the slightest. Everything is just open for you.
Yeah.
Granted, it's really grindy. That's the like downside of this game, but it's meant to be a grind. Like, you're definitely not supposed to just get everything right off the start and just be like, ta-da, go nuts.
Yeah.
Because people just don't function that way. Nobody's just going to be like, oh, look, I have 7,000 things. Because you're just going to get overwhelmed and just, like, leave. But, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. If you have any questions, feel free. This is the actual Plains of Eidolon. This is, like, one of its most recent things that it put into the game. This is its actual open world section. For the most part, a big complaint about this game was that it never was an open world game. It was just like, oh, you go from like place to place to place. It's fairly linear, but like it's pretty linear. I can't really argue with that. It's a fairly linear game. But this is where like you can just go out and go nuts out in like a random field and earth. And I believe these guys right now are probably fighting an actual Eidolon. Oh no, they're not. But yeah, you can go do all sorts of stuff here. But yeah. And I see that Morgan's saying, what about spaceships? There are ships in this game. They're not really like focused upon, but I know that they're planning on adding actual like spaceship operating things into it. I don't know how that's gonna function. But you can customize the look of them. I know that some people have like these really crazy looking ones, and like you can customize the inside of your ships too, but you don't actually go and pilot them or anything. It's the same way in like Destiny, where it's just like you use your ship as like a hub, and then you just kind of like choose where you want to go or what you want to do from there. That's realistically all it does at the moment. But yeah.
Cool.
So yeah. Bubba, do you have any words that you want to mention about this? Because I'm ready. I'm all ears.
Team Destiny.
Team
Well, the
$0.
only question that I have for Warframe is I hear my friends talking about mods.
Yes. So mods are kind of like the reason why everything is viable to a certain degree. Like nothing is like super overpowered or anything, because mods are what like makes your weapon actually do damage. That's like the really crucial thing about all of your gear. So like you can have what's considered the best like melee weapon or something like that, and then you can have like a really basic like tiny dagger, but if one has just a ton of mods on it and the other one has really basic mods, then the one with a ton of mods on it is going to do significantly more. That's really where all the power in the game comes from, is from mods, not from like the actual like basic frame itself or anything like that. So like your health pool and your shield pool and like how strong your abilities actually are, and all of that is focused around mods. So does that kind of help a little bit? Probably not, maybe.
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, all right, but yeah, that's
Danie, I'm being
that's
told
where it all
that,
comes from.
I'm very quiet.
Where's your mic at in your face? If not,
right
well,
here.
actually, I can turn you up a bit. Talk again.
Hola, señor.
Again.
Hola, señor.
Let me. One more time.
Hi.
There we go.
My name is Austin.
Cool. There we go.
Way better. Awesome.
Oh,
now we're
that's-
getting.
There we go. We're good.
Oh man.
All right. So we've talked a lot about Warframe. We talked about Pokemon for a while.
Yep.
I think, unless there's anything else, because I'm looking at our clock here, probably want to get on to some of our other topics. Unless there's anything else we
go
want to
for
talk about Warframe.
No, for sure. We can just move on. That's fine. Basically, Warframe's free. There's no reason not to play it.
Unless you don't like it.
So it's Fortnite, but I don't play that.
Yeah, you won't know until you play it. But yeah.
Yeah, so, Bubba, the reason I wanted to bring you on is because you have joined the dark side.
I did. The very expensive dark side.
Oh, we all know your feeling. Stressful.
So, why don't you just tell us how it has been moving to PC and some of the growing pains, the learning process that you've had to go through, and I mean, you had a bunch of games that were on Xbox or PS4, whatever you're playing. How are you finding games on this new platform, I guess is my question.
For game wise, it's difficult because the second I got the PC, it didn't really put in the thought process of, hey, you're not gonna have any games when you get on.
Yeah.
All I thought was, hey, I have a PC now, I can do stuff on it.
Right.
No, I have no money. I can't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just me watching people on Twitch and I'm just kind of here.
Wishing.
I can't really do anything. But what pissed me off is the Steam sales that frustrates me to the max, because the second I get a PC, a week later, all the games I put on my wish list went on sale. Like Rainbow Six Siege went on sale, Rocket League went on sale. Was so much stuff,
man.
and I was getting angry because like I'm scratching out like pocket change, like I need to buy this, it's on sale. Yeah. And it was just frustrating me. And then I ended up buying those games. I ended up figuring it out and bought it, but it's just more of, I bought all these games on these consoles that I have, and it sucks because now that just sits there, and you can't transfer that game to your PC at all. So all the thousands of dollars you put into your console is just now just going to sit there. Now, I'm not saying I'm never going to touch my console ever again, but
right.
Graphics are way better over here. To me, it seems a little bit more convenient and faster. So like, and I mean by that is like, I can quick on my computer, load up a game, and I'm in it within like less than 3 minutes. In my opinion, as long as there's no updates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's just
as
so
for
convenient.
My
everything.
Xbox, it takes like 2-3 minutes to load up.
Well, I was just gonna say it's super convenient, right, Bubba? Because you can just sit here playing Rainbow Six Siege while also looking at porn, right? It's just that simple.
Hey, dual monitors, man! Tell you what, it's a great thing to have.
Sorry, I just had to get a dirty joke in there.
What I'd like to do, what I have been doing lately, is I work Monday nights a lot, and I like to watch wrestling. And so what I do sometimes is when I don't work, I'll play games on like this monitor and then watching, wrestling on the other monitor. So that's the other nice thing to having a computer, a PC. I'm able to do multiple things because my cable is connected through my Xbox, so I can't play games while watching TV. I couldn't. You used to, because they had a snap-on thing, but then they took that away from us. And I don't know if either of you have had an Xbox One or not at that time. No.
Right now I'm rocking on PS4 at the moment.
That was the other mistake I made. Like, not even, it was back in maybe February or March, I just bought a PS4. And then within like 3 months, I bought a PC. So now that just sits there. But the PS4 was mainly for exclusive games. So
that's entirely the reason why I bought it too. Don't worry.
God of War, Spider-Man's coming out like next week or something like that. So
the two ones that sold me was just God of War and Bloodborne, and I was like, yep, okay, I'm buying it. yeah, that's the thing.
You both played Detroit Become Human, right? That's a PS4 exclusive.
Oh, dude, that game was good. I was very impressed with that.
I was just gonna kind of ask about what kind of services are you looking at when it comes to, or like how are you looking for deals? I mean, with the limited time that you have to look for deals, obviously I think I've pointed you in a couple different games. I think I got you you to download Insurgency when it was free as a part of the promo for Sandstorm. But other than hearsay, like, what are you looking at for like trying to find games on cheap? If anything, like, how's that process been for you? Have you been looking at like the Twitch Prime? Have you just been looking at the Steam sales or like
I've just been
GOG?
kind of looking at Steam sales,
Hmm.
and Steam sales,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I haven't really looked in a whole lot of places because I really don't know where to look because since I'm
Yeah.
so new to it still. So, but I'm constantly always like on the internet searching different games to play because like the other night I was ready to go streaming. I wanted to stream, but I didn't know what to play because I don't want to play Rainbow by myself because it's gets sickening after about an hour by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have like what else do I have here too? Like Dead by Daylight, I could play as the killer, but then that gets sickening after time.
Hmm.
And Rocket League's been a good one too. That's been a good one for recently. But I just kind of got to a point like I want to kind of grind, I want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so that's why Destiny's been a huge thing. Back to that again. And so, but that's on my console. So the other night I just went somewhere, found something that wasn't $60
Hmm.
and just like half that or below. And then I ended up buying City Skylines the other night and just
Ooh.
been playing that.
Yeah.
And
How are you
that
enjoying
game
that?
it's frustrating, but I love it so much because there's such big things. Like it's legitimately a city. You can build houses, you can build, businesses and all that stuff. You can eventually get to a point where you're building skyscrapers, you're building a football stadium. It's that dream to make that huge city because you go on YouTube and type in like million people in city and oh it's huge. It's like how do you get to that point because you run into so many other issues in that game that we'll talk about that another time because now I'm getting off that. So but yeah, that's $30 on Steam, but whatever.
Hmm.
But back to the Switch in general, I actually wrote some stuff down here too. But yeah, like you're limited on the console. The
Yeah.
PC you can upgrade like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So like I wouldn't say have I've a good specs like a 1060 and all that stuff. I can eventually over time add a 1080 or what else is there? I'm new to it, so I haven't know 100% what else I can add to it.
Hmm.
I can get a higher CPU and stuff like that. So and then also the Switch is that your console can only last for so long. It's until there's a new thing out there. But you could also say that for PC too. But once you get to a certain point with the console, like I had a PS3 for the longest time and a
Hmm.
PS2, well, you get to that point where they stop making that game for that console. So then it's just like then you're forced to buy the new thing. As for
Right.
this PC that I have right now, I technically do not have to upgrade it for a while, for a very long time, because it's a decent specs to where it will last me for I could say 10 years, but I don't know what could happen in 10 years though either.
Right.
So it's it's nice. It's very nice. And then another thing I also have, and I think even Morgan put in the chat too, just because I made that switch, I saved money because this mic that I'm currently using was
Hmm.
my Xbox mic. I made it
Oh,
work
okay.
because,
Gotcha.
and I'm not gonna pull it out because obviously it's then you can't hear me. But I had to get an extra cord.
Hmm.
It was like an adapter where you plug this part into it and then it splits it to the headphone and the microphone.
Yeah.
So I just save money on a mic. And then when I'm playing Rocket League, all I need is like I don't even know if I have it by me or not, but just a normal like a USB to like what old phones used to use for chargers.
Hmm.
You plug that into your Xbox and I plug it into my PC. I can use my controller now. On Rainbow, I can use it on Rocket League. So if I don't want to use the keyboard, I can
Yeah.
you can move yourself into that.
Yeah.
So, but then obviously there's got to be cons to stuff like this too. So obviously it's very expensive.
That that is a huge con for a lot
It
of people
is, and
because I don't know how much you spent. I spent upwards of like $1,200.
I was
So
1,700 with everything,
yeah.
monitors, keyboard, everything
Oh
was about
God.
Exactly.
$1,700.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
It's
probably
definitely
getting to that
not
point with my whole
cheap.
setup. So I have I think I spent 1,300 for the with the monitors included. or with at least one monitor included. $100
But,
for my interface,
Mm-hmm.
all that shit. 150.
Right. Like my money, the amount is just going to keep going up because like I'm going to get a different mic. I'm going to get in the interface that Danie just said, just different things. And that's also another thing is that with this PC, you can do podcasts like what we're doing right now. It's as communications major that I went to for college. I've been wanting to do radio or any kind of broadcasting in general. So the fact that we can do this gives us power to being able to do that kind of thing, and it's awesome in a way.
Yeah, that was actually one thing when people ask me about like why I swapped to PC. Well, it was first off because I didn't really have a gaming system when I left, and I was running it on a really shitty Dell Latitude. But I also do video editing and photo editing and audio editing. Like, why don't I just build a workstation that has gaming capabilities? And that's how it just ended up working. So I mean, that always like if you're ever somebody who like you're looking at like a gaming console and then like, well, I could just buy like a work laptop and then buy like a console. You could do that. Yeah. But you could also build a rig that's gonna be more powerful than both those things combined and do more. So that is like a cost saving measure. Like if you're ever thinking about getting into PC.
And it lasts a significantly like a lot longer, to say the least. Like I don't have any expectations that this computer is going to go like out of fucking spec anytime soon. I think it'll be fine. Yeah. For a long period of time.
Yeah, barring something catastrophic, I don't plan on upgrading.
Yeah, it was a big investment, but it's definitely going to be more than worth for like at least 5 years minimum. Easily 5 years.
Yeah, definitely. And what was more difficult for me was I felt like I needed to have the top stuff, but once you actually start putting everything together, and you can talk to Danie K about how I was putting this thing together, I was getting pissed.
We were in a Discord call together.
Difficult because like I had to do it by myself, and that was the scary part about it, was putting it together myself. I could have technically bought a pre-built one, and that was what I was going to originally do.
Yeah.
But then eventually I was talking to a bunch of people, and then everyone convinced me out of it.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, I, bought all the parts and I got everything put together, and all of a sudden I started doing it and I'm like, what did I just get myself into? It took me 8 hours to put this thing together. And I had no problems though. The second I got it put together and I started it up, the only problem that I was having was getting Windows 10 on it. That was the only problem that I had. But then I just eventually figured it out. But
I 100% know your pain because I built my computer on stream on my birthday. And
oh my god, are there clips?
The entire time that I built it, at the very end, it didn't work, and I started panicking, and it was really like, it was terrifying, and I was like, I'm just gonna end the stream here, and I'm gonna deal with it in the morning. That's what I said. Realistically, I ended the stream, I tore down the entire computer, and I rebuilt the entire thing immediately.
Oh no.
And like, it was like 8 hours, and then it finally worked, and I was just like, oh god, yes, I didn't waste my money.
So when I built this PC, I had it for about a week.
I 100% know your feeling.
When I built this PC, I keep pointing to it. It's right here for me. I had it for like a week. I was playing The Walking Dead, the Telltale game, and I haven't gone back to it since. By the way, I haven't gone back to it since then. I had it for literally a week, and the game, and then just off. Couldn't get it to turn back on. I took it over to my stepdad, who's an IT guy, who helped me, like, who showed me how to like build it. And I'm like, what the fuck is, like, it won't turn on. Like, and we checked the power supply, and I'm like, okay, so it might be the power supply. So I sent the power supply off. I got it back. I put it back in. I'm like, it's still not turning on. So I took it back. This is like for like over like 2 weeks, because I was literally just like going back to school at that point. And then I'm like, he's like, it might be the graphics card. I'm like, oh god. So we took the graphics card out, made the computer run it on the motherboard graphics card, on the integrated one, and finally got it back and put the graphics card back in. and it worked. And I'm like, oh. So for like a month, I wasn't even like running at like top, like what I originally bought at. But it was like that scary moment. Like I had like just gotten home from work or something like that, or something. I was doing something, and I won't play. I won't play The Walking Dead anymore. I won't even install it again. Won't even. No. Well, no, won't touch it. It might kill my computer.
Oh man. Now that all being said, there is one thing good that comes out of all of that is that you actually learn how to how to manage your computer and you understand everything.
That was the weird part about it. For me was I knew nothing about computers whatsoever. So people kept talking about it all the time, and I'm like, how do you guys figure this out? But then when you finally put it together, and it
all makes sense.
It's way easier than I thought it was.
We opened Pandora's box. We know the information.
Well, it's like one of those things. When I haven't gotten like super deep into PCs. Like when people still talk about like their PC rigs, sometimes it sounds like they're still talking gibberish to me. Mm-hmm. Like I understand enough, right? Right. But it's like the same thing. Like because I'm a photographer and I'm a musician, right? It's like I can talk to somebody about a bass right behind me. That's a Music Man Sub Sterling. 4-string, bass. Anyone that knows bass guitars can kind of at least have an idea what that is.
Over my head.
Yeah, right? Canon T6i with a 50mm lens, right? So when people talk about getting like into like computers and stuff like that, they gotta realize that like it is like just super technical and not to be afraid of it. It's like don't be super fucking afraid of the computer. Like you can put it together, right? And you can understand what every part does. And what that'll also help you do is like if you're a console gamer, you kind of understand how the console works, right? Because the consoles run on an APU, which is a combined CPU and GPU. No, like I told Bubba, because I think I was one of the ones that tried to convince you, or I guess successfully convince you to build it, was just like you'll just learn how the computer works and how to manage it, and like you'll understand way more about computers and technology. So yeah, that's
because people also were telling me too. They were saying because I kept showing everybody this pre-built that I found. It was a cyber power PC is what it was. And I kept showing to people, I'm like, is this a good PC? Is this a good PC? Because like I don't know. And I annoyed the crap out of so many people because I'm trying to figure this out. Yeah. And then someone eventually just said the words like, it's a good PC, but they're going to be cutting corners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It may be a good price.
They're going to cut corners and they're going to charge a lot.
Yeah, and there's something about it that isn't as good. And then I think someone ended up telling me like my CPU in there wasn't as good. I'd have to look it up again what it was.
Yeah.
But
yeah, most companies will normally cheap out on the CPU because most people don't really think about it. They're just like graphics card.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's like, 1080, that's good. And it's like you have an i5 that like can barely support this thing.
So I have somebody that keeps asking me about like computer stuff, and I'm like, I just don't know. Like this is like one of those things like. And this person is a relative of mine. I don't want. I'm just like I don't know. Like I'm like flabbergasted. I'm like because I'm like I just don't know. And it's kind of funny because he's a mechanic. I'm like, you build race cars. You can you can do the research, right? You can look at the benchmarks and understand the benchmarks way better than I can. Probably.
That's funny.
You literally build race cars. You could probably understand how to put a PC together, no problem. Way better than I could.
Oh man.
Like, I'm like, I wish I could tell you more. I just can't.
Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. It's gotten to the point where like, because of like building the computer and like, as everybody knows who does streaming, eventually like at the start, it's really insanely like over your head all the time, and it's just like I don't know how like half this stuff works.
Yeah.
But like we'll manage. But like I don't know, because of like all of that, it's gotten to the point where I just like I love helping people out with that sort of stuff. So I'm just like, oh yeah, no, for sure we can talk about like GPUs and stuff like that. I'm down. You want to like work on your stream setup? For sure, dude. It's gotten to the point where like I have a streaming setup Discord part, and I really want people to use it, but like there's like 2 people that use it. And I'm just like, fine, it's fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
But well, I know I bounce a bunch of ideas off of you.
Yeah.
I keep sending you stuff like, hey, what do you think of like this hub look or whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know how much I sent of you when we started getting ready for this podcast, because I did all the overlay stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know. That's just the nice thing about doing things where it's like, it's difficult and usually it starts off really over your head, but like once you actually do it and get into it, it's like, oh, it makes sense now. Like building your computer, for example, it's like, yeah, no, I'm not touching that. No, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'll go get somebody else to do it. And it's like, no, you can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. It's like building Legos.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it at first,
yeah,
until you actually like start doing like until you finish. You're like, wait a minute, that actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just kind of I want to get what was the high point, or what has been like the greatest benefit to you, Bubba, switching to PC, and what has been the biggest detriment to you?
Like the best thing about it, and then the worst thing about it.
Yeah. Just so for people who might be listening or watching who want to get in, who want to like maybe move from console to PC or whatever.
The best thing about it is, I think it's just because I just have access to a computer now. Mm-hmm. You know, you can do so much on it, not just gaming. You know, you can just listen to music. You can do a lot of researching stuff. Scroll through Amazon for all you know. Look at other PC parts.
Yeah.
Edit videos, put things together.
Yeah, just stuff like that. Oh, and like what we're doing right now, you know, like a podcast, you know, it's just, there's so many things you can do that I just cannot list them off, you know. Porn. No, I'm just kidding, but
get in that porno.
Oh man.
Download that 1 terabyte of porno.
Oh man.
But, and I want to say the bad thing about it is there's a bunch of bad things about it. So like technically my PC isn't 100% paid off because because I'm horrible with saving money, but I'm better at paying for it.
Right.
So I actually did the Amazon store card. Now it is a risk taking that, but they have a thing where you can do special financing to where you either like they have like 2 different things, like it's a 12 month or 24 month, but it depends on what you're buying.
So it's just a monthly payment plan.
Kind of. Okay. But the one that all my stuff went for the 24 month. So technically you do not owe any kind of there's no interest whatsoever for 2 years. Oh. And there's minimal monthly payments, and I just got my statement today or yesterday. It was only $25. So
that's actually super good.
That is really good, but you can't just keep making that 25. You have to eventually put more into it, because after that 2 years happens, this is where the kicker is. It's 24% interest.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to get it paid off in 2 years.
Then.
You have to. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to be like adding $300 onto it, $400 onto your interest every month. Yeah. Because, it depends on how much you put on the card, too.
That being said, I think I might start considering that more often.
Now, be careful with it, because you're going to get too happy with it.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing was to add on to it, though, was it had to be something over $100. The certain object. Now, because that was the other thing I was a little worried about, too, because it goes by object, not by total price.
Right.
So that object has to be over $100, otherwise you don't get that special financing.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I got you.
So, because I ended up buying thermal paste. That wasn't included in there.
Right.
So the second I saw that, I immediately put $5 down, so that wouldn't get any interest on. Or whatever the price of that thermal paste cost. And I didn't even use it. The CPU cooler had it on it.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait a second, hold on.
You got freaked out there for a second.
Ren's like, your computer's about to melt.
Yeah. Oh, man. Most terrifying.
No, it was on there already. It was on the CPU cooler, so. But that was the one thing I was a little worried about when I was building mine, because, like, I had to take it off there because the way that they have that CPU cooler that I got, it was a Be Quiet. be quiet cooler.
Yeah.
And it was weird because you have to like jam it into the motherboard and then like turn so it locks in there. And I couldn't figure out. I was getting that was a lot of words came out of my mouth that day. A lot of words.
They were.
Oh man.
And yeah, so like I said, it took me 8 hours to build. But I'll tell you what, the second, because I didn't even have my monitors out or anything, I plugged it into my computer, turned it on, and the second I saw whatever the Intel whatever it was pop up, just saying this is ready.
The best feeling in the world. It is so nice.
It was amazing. I was getting pissed off because I'm like, there's no way this is gonna run. There's no way this is gonna run because it was just small things that I kept messing up. And yeah, I plugged it in. The RGB lights turned on my motherboard, and I'm like, and sure enough, it turned on. But it took me about a day until I got the Windows 10 thing on it because that pissed me off.
Yeah.
Because one of my buddies caught it because I was about to order Windows 10, but it was a DVD, and mine doesn't have a CD-ROM. My buddy caught it right before I made an order.
That's great.
Oh man, I was gonna be so mad.
Oh man. Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, other thing I would tell people other than that is just breathe. It's expensive. It's gonna take a while to build, but it's gonna be worth it.
Yeah. And honestly, like, if you're really not super worried about like playing games on it immediately, this is something that I did, at least as a streamer personally, was I built my computer initially as a streaming PC. So it didn't have a graphics card or anything like that. And it was like half the price of what I paid in the first place. So it was just like a CPU and some RAM, like half the RAM I even have in there right now. And then that was it. It was just gonna be that. And I was like, okay, that's great. That meets all the requirements I need. Realistically, you don't need a crazy graphics card in order to like do things. You're obviously gonna need one if you want to play games on it, but like, you don't need something over the top like a 1080 Ti and go like nutty on your spending or anything like that. I believe that Bubba went for a 1060, right?
Yeah, 1060.
Yeah, 1050 Ti and 1060 are fine. They're totally fine. You can easily like do whatever you want to do,
right?
Like without a doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah,
No.
don't if you're just gonna use it as like a computer, like an actual just like computer where maybe you watch stuff on it and you don't really want a game on it just yet and you want to save money, you don't need to like go crazy and buy a crazy graphics card by any means.
Yeah.
You can just be like, oh, I'll run on integrated like graphics for a bit and then just like swap something in later. Yeah. That's what I did.
And there's plenty of like indie games that will run on that too. And I mean, there are games that are designed to run on the lowest possible specs available. Yeah. Fortnite, you know, design.
I would not run Fortnite on a great GPU, but yeah, I got you. But yes. But yeah, I don't know. Some games are definitely like because they're pixelated style games, or maybe they're like really low res. And
Minecraft.
2D, then like maybe you can run it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That was what I went for personally, but that was specifically as like a streamer's reason, not as like I need it for gaming. It was more like I need it so that way I have something to encode.
Yeah,
and that's it.
I had the money, so I'm like, I'm doing this for school so I can get Premiere on my computer, I don't have to be in the editing bay. I'm like, I still have like this extra couple $100 that I can put a graphics card in.
Yeah, the graphics card's just there for better rendering power.
You know what, dude? It is really nice.
It really is.
It really works.
I can't argue with that one.
Oh, especially when I have like a big Photoshop project with like a million layers. I'm like, let me just go ahead.
Yeah.
Thank God that I'll do the same. I'll try to render the same project out on my little MacBook Air that I use for which by the way, now I have an actual work laptop because I had to do shit at work. I nabbed a MacBook Air my stepdad wasn't using. So I'm like, might as well. Yeah, so that's been nice. But we have a little bit of time left and I was kind of hoping we can get into this article I found today, Polygon is changing their review system, or the way that they're doing reviews. And I was kind of curious to get your guys' thoughts on what you like when like you're reading reviews or what you're like trying to find reviews, because I don't like the number system all that well.
I hate the number system. I don't even
I
go for it. As a matter of fact, I almost specifically go to very specific like reviewers themselves. It's never like a big like company name like Polygon or like what GameSpot or anything like that. It's like what your Super Bunny Hop. Sean Bain was previously a person.
May he rest in peace.
Yeah. I don't know. I normally go to individuals that really aren't gonna just get like paid off or don't know what they're talking about altogether. Cuphead, I remember you. But yeah.
It's like we said, was that a Kotaku reviewer?
Yeah, it was the Kotaku reviewer who did not know how to jump. So that was a thing. He didn't know how to jump in a platformer.
It was like a dash, wasn't it? He's like,
oh, yeah, he didn't know how to dash. He didn't know how to press.
He was like stuck in the tutorial. He didn't know how to dash in Cuphead. It was like on
and then
the
he had
screen.
to also write an actual review and include that, which is like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Oh man, I remember watching that video.
But yeah. Yeah, so for me personally, I go to like very specific reviewers. I choose my own reviewers and then I go off their like base, along with like friends, of course. And I will check like Steam reviews and see what I'll check is I'll check like the first 2 like good reviews and I'll check 3 bad, just to see like in case if something goes crazy, I'll like know what happened.
Yeah,
realistically. But yeah, that's normally how I do my bases on reviewing.
Yeah. This will kind of be like a little eulogy, I guess, but I've been so lost since Total Biscuit passed away. Like I don't know who to go to for my reviews. Total Biscuit was who I went for my reviews. And I mean, I would be lying if I said if this show didn't have some sort of influence from Total Biscuit.
Oh yeah. No, for sure.
Like, let's just get that out of the way. So like I've been trying to figure out like who I have who I have to like look at. I'm like, I never really cared for Angry Joe. Jim Sterling was okay. There's a few other people I've been trying to like okay, like maybe. But like otherwise, I've never liked the number system, like the star system, whatever you want to call it, that a bunch of these like companies use. So I enjoy seeing that Polygon is just basically giving like a thumbs up, thumbs down thing now. It's like, do we think you should pick up this game? Yes. And these are the reasons why. I don't like this game gets a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
That doesn't really say anything, because just like how do you rate that?
Yeah. The criteria to me, like, unless like you have like a fucking like whiteboard here and just like, all right, so in terms of graphics and performance, and the story and the gameplay and the mechanics and right, unless you have like a whiteboard and you're breaking it all down, then you're taking like an average rating for those games. That's the only way. But they never do that. They're never that detailed. Like very, very, very rarely are they ever that detailed.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I normally go for full-on critiques more than anything. Like, even if it's, like, upwards of, like, 20 minutes to, like, a 40-minute video of, like, a dude talking about it. I'll normally, like, just listen to it, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, no, these are fair arguments. I don't want to hear that, like, the game is just, oh, my gosh, it's just amazing all the time, every time, ever. Because that's obviously not true. That's never the case with any game, even if it's, like, my favorite game or not. I'm definitely not going to be like... Destiny. It's pretty much. Destiny's my favorite game. Best game. Knew it. Zero problems.
Closeted Destiny lover. I have no horse in that race.
Just come out, Ren. Just come out and say it. You love Destiny and you actually hate Warframe.
I hate
let's just
game.
Come out with
that Warframers game. I can't stand it.
They frame wars. That doesn't make sense.
I like you. I like how you do that Warframer.
Yeah, it's Warframe.
It's like a fucking it's like my dad like, oh yeah, were you playing that Pokemon?
Yeah. Did you play some of the Warframers on the Nintendo?
On that Nintendo.
Yeah.
It's like my grandmother. Oh yeah, I still have the Nintendo. Like, grandma, that's a Sega.
But yeah, no, I'd rather listen to like somebody straight up talk about like what they thought was good and not good about the game, rather than listen to something that only comments on the good or only comments on the bad, because that's not what I'm like there for at all. And Warframe is coming out for the Switch. That is true.
Oh,
that is true, and that is like a shocker to me, to be honest. That's something I actually forgot to mention, is because that game looks visually crazy. So the fact that that can run on a Switch, is flabbergasting. I don't know how that works, especially when Fortnite's having struggles.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, let's just talk about the fact that like Fortnite players on the Switch are like begging Epic to update the game or like fix the game. They like posted like open letters, just like cry.
What's going on the Switch? Like, what's the issue there on Fortnite?
I don't know. I don't know if Epic is just letting it like just break itself over and over again. I don't know if that's the issue.
I would assume it's like a frame rate issue. And probably like maybe a flickering issue. I doubt that, but probably just like a huge frame rate issue. But
yeah. Well, I've heard like other like mechanics and stuff are broken
on the console.
I've heard like on the Switch other mechanics and stuff like that are broken or not working properly, not working like they do on the counterpart. You know, the PC. And I've heard that a lot of Switch players are like starting to move towards mobile for Fortnite because it works better.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man. Bring on the PUBG Mobile too, why don't we?
Did I ever tell you guys? Okay, so there's a channel I do watch, Culture Shock Network. He does this series, Anthony does this series called Is It Worth My Time? Kind of really similar to this, where he's looking at free-to-play games. But he did the PUBG Mobile, and one thing he talked about was, oh yeah, by the way, like the first 2 games you are in are bots, so don't go like screen sharing your win and say it was your first game. And I saw,
oh my gosh,
there was specifically one person I saw who did that on my Facebook. They screenshotted it and shared it on Facebook. Like,
look guys, I won my first game of PUBG Mobile.
And I just want to be like, oh, you poor...
I've actually seen a lot of those.
You poor bastard.
Seen a lot of those. So now I'm just like, oh, what a damn shame.
You poor bastard. You
didn't know the truth.
Don't look at the man behind the curtain kind of situation.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna be so good at PUBG Mobile. I won my first game.
Oh man.
I'm gonna be an MLG pro on PUBG Mobile.
Oh my goodness.
I'm the best PUBG Mobile player of all time. Fight me. You won't.
Oh no.
Come at me, bitches. Don't tell my mom I said that.
Your mama's gonna beat your ass, boy. Just like, Renly, did I hear you say bitches?
No, I'm playing Fortnite with my friends.
Renly, get down here and eat your goddamn dinner. I should have aborted you.
Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry, too dark.
Oh man.
Oh
my gosh.
Okay.
But
so Polygon reviews.
Yeah, Polygon reviews. Basically, yes. I like longer critiques more than points. Points are dumb.
Okay.
That doesn't give me any information ever.
I like the stamp of approval and curation idea. That's like just. Is it good or should you play it? Should you not? Right there. I don't want to try to decipher your stupid fucking code. So Polygon, good on you. I like what you've done.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't know. I don't think they'll change my stance on like not going to specific review sites though. To be honest.
Yeah.
Just because like there's always, of course, people are gonna be like, no, we didn't get paid for this.
Yeah, there is always that. It's like, listen here, Kotaku.
Yeah, and it's like I'd rather not. I'd rather just go talk to a guy and be like, hey, did you like that game? And they're like, no, the game was trash.
Hey PewDiePie, did you get paid to play Shadow of Mordor? What's up, dude?
Oh man, but yeah, that's basically my stance on it.
Yeah.
That's pretty straightforward. But yeah.
Usually for me, whenever I like want to know about a game, I'll either like look up gameplay of it on YouTube, or I'll see if anybody's streaming it.
Yeah,
So like
that's a fair point too. Yeah, there's not really much of, at least in my opinion, I don't think there's that much of a market for like going and checking like reviews anymore. I mean, of course there is one, but like with internet being the way it is, and like people can actually just go and watch a Twitch stream of like somebody like doing their blind first time playthrough of it, it's like, yeah, for sure, like you're gonna get a relatively honest opinion of it.
Yeah.
So like, why not? And like you'll actually see for yourself if you like the gameplay or not. So I don't know.
But it's always going to be different for everybody because, you know, I've never been a big fan. Like you guys were talking like the Pokemon stuff like that. Obviously, my review would be way different compared to what your guys' review is.
Yeah,
So it's all opinionated is all it is. So if you actually come up with explanations like you guys were talking of why it's bad, or like, you know, not like saying, oh, it just sucks because it's dumb, you know. They actually give legit reasonings like, oh, the game is a little slow here, you know, it's lagging here, just stuff like that, you know, being reasonable.
Yeah, exactly. It's never about just like shitting on a game or just praising it like it's the best gift that God's ever given. But like, yeah, if it's like relatively reasonable, then I'm usually content. I'm always listening to like, I'm always open to hear somebody be like, no, I didn't like it because of this reason. It's like, okay, yeah, that's totally fair. But if you're just gonna be like, nope, the game's dumb. No, I don't want that review. Game's bad. Nope,
game's bad.
Nope. Trust me, I made it past the tutorial this time. Trust.
I learned how to dash. I know how to play the game now.
Basically a god. I'm a big deal.
Oh wait, no. Actually, you know, I apologize. I think we unfairly maligned Kotaku for that. I don't think it was Kotaku. I think it was like the San Francisco Times or something like that.
I don't.
So Kotaku, I'm sorry. I don't think that writer was yours. My apologies. Let's not unfairly malign Kotaku. We can malign them for other things, but not that. So,
but yeah, that's pretty much like, I don't think I can really dive into it much harder.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Well, we're getting about that time.
Oh.
Yeah. This has been a really quick conversation. It feels quick.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's not really much to talk about it, to be honest. At least in my opinion. I feel like it's a pretty, like, straightforward, like, this is, I don't know. I don't go to, like, review sites because I don't trust them.
Story if someone was, like, for numbers and letters and stuff like that. Then we'd have a full-on conversation.
Yeah, that would be, like, I would be really intrigued to know about, like, why that's a thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So, yeah, we're approaching a time where we need to end.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
Let's go ahead and start doing the plugging.
Okay.
Where, Ren, where can people find you again? Because, you know, we already did this, but let's do it again. And then what's coming up on the channel?
Gotcha. So I'm Ren. I play variety games. I stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ren147. I'm going to be playing something in about like half an hour. So that's a thing. I don't know what. I'm probably going to be playing Call of Duty and just chilling. But we'll see. I might either play some Call of Duty, maybe some Warframe, maybe something else. I'm seeing a certain face from a certain person. I see you. But yeah, you can also find me at Twitter at Renegade147. I believe that's right. But trust me, I barely post on it. Don't even worry about it. But yeah, best place to find me is on Twitch, for sure. I'm gonna be streaming like half an hour, so that's the thing. But yeah, thank you guys for stopping in. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Awesome. Bubba, where can people find you, and what are they gonna find coming up on the channel?
You could find me at name right here if I can get it just right.
Ooh,
somewhere around here.
smooth,
This
right there.
area.
Nice.
Somewhere around here.
Oh, grab it.
Just kind of here. Okay.
Yeah, stroke it.
And I'll be streaming. Streaming at Pornhub.com. All right. So it's rated R. Only 18 years and older.
Oh man.
Just kidding. No. You can find me at BubbaPudding. Just it's one word. It used to be underscore, but I finally got to change back to my original name, and I'm really about that. So yeah, and you can find me whenever I decide to stream because it's inconsistent as crap. I don't think I'll be at L tonight, but there could be a change, and if I do, it'll be very late, midnight, 1 o'clock Central Time. But otherwise, yeah, kind of watch out for my Twitter. That's where you'll mainly see if I stream or not. So, and that's BubbaPudding as well.
Cool.
Nothing fancy.
Awesome. Coming up on my channel, well, first off, guys, go subscribe to us on Apple and Spotify. You can also find us on YouTube. Just look up The Next to Nothing Podcast. You'll find it right there. That'll all be up Thursday if you are just catching us on, like, the tail end of this. New stream schedule out. I'm going to announce it on my Instagram and on my Discord on Friday. I have a feeling I know what it's going to be, but if you guys haven't heard me say it already, I have I have a second job now, all sorts of stuff. So Bubba's walking off, it looks like. Oh no, he's getting a.
Oh, I thought he was going to bed.
Belt. Yeah, he's just gonna lay down right there.
He's just straight up going to bed.
So yeah, I hit 200 followers. I have new stream loot stuff. That's kind of all the stuff that's going on. Probably gonna be playing Dauntless or Elder Scrolls Online tomorrow. Otherwise, guys, that will be it for us, and we're gonna go ahead and say goodbye.
All right, bye everyone. Thank you for stopping in, everybody. I appreciate it.
Thanks for stopping, guys. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, bye TN, bye Eggy, bye Raider, bye everybody.
Bye, guys.
Yeah,
Later.
buddy.